All right, today we're doing a deep dive for investors on a really interesting company, Datadog. If you're watching the tech space, you've probably heard of them. They're a huge player in cloud monitoring and security, and we're going to break down what that actually means for your portfolio. So, get this. The company we're talking about monitors trillions of events per hour. I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. The scale is just massive. And that brings us to the big question, right? A company operating on that level, should it be on your radar as an investor? Let's find out. Okay, so before we can really dig into what Datadog does, we first have to understand the problem they exist to solve. And honestly, it's a problem a lot of companies are facing. You can pretty much sum it up in two words: cloud chaos. Think about it. Pretty much every company out there is moving to the cloud, right? They're going digital first. Well, that shift creates this just absolute explosion of data. Every single server, every app, every time a user clicks on something, it generates information. We're talking logs, metrics, all this technical stuff. And if you don't have a way to wrangle all of it, it's not just messy, it's total chaos. Really important problems like performance issues or security threats can get buried in all that noise. So how do you fix this chaos? Well, the answer is this key concept called observability. It sounds technical, but it's pretty simple, really. It's just the ability to look at all that messy data and actually understand what's going on inside your systems, like right now. It lets all the tech teams, your developers, your operations folks, your security experts, see everything clearly so they can spot problems and fix them fast. Okay, so that's the problem and that's the solution. Now, how does Datadog make money off of it? Let's take a look at their business model. It's actually a really simple but powerful three-step approach. First, they integrate with, well, pretty much everything. They have this one little piece of software that can pull in data from over 850 different sources. It's kind of nuts. Then step two, they unify it. They pull all that chaos into what everyone in tech calls a single pane of glass. It's a great metaphor. It just means one dashboard where you can see your entire system. And finally, this leads to collaboration. When everyone's looking at the same data, the different teams, devs, ops, security, can actually work together instead of pointing fingers. It's a huge deal. And does this model work? Yeah. Just look at this number. We're talking $2.68 billion in revenue for fiscal year 2024. This isn't some scrappy startup, folks. This is a massive enterprise software company playing in the big leagues. Now this number, this one is really important for an investor to understand. This isn't total customers. This is the number of customers paying Datadog more than $100,000 a year. 3,610 of them. What does that tell you? It shows they've cracked the code with large companies. These are big enterprises with huge budgets, and they're writing big checks to Datadog to solve that cloud chaos problem. All right, so the company is obviously doing well, but as investors, we care about the future. So let's talk about the bull case. What's the argument that this thing could go even higher? Okay, this number right here might be the single most important part of the bull case. This is their dollar-based net retention rate. Now, that's a mouthful, but what it means is simple and, frankly, beautiful. Take all the customers they had a year ago. Today, that same group is spending, well, in the high 110%, so let's call it 15, 16% more than they did last year. This isn't about new customers. This is existing customers spending more and more. It's like a built-in growth engine, and for a software company, that is pure gold. And if that built-in growth wasn't enough, here's the potential rocket fuel: AI. Everyone is pouring money into artificial intelligence, right? Well, all those new AI systems are incredibly complex, and they have to be monitored. And check out this quote from a Morningstar analyst. Customers who are AI native grew their spending on Datadog by 60%, not year over year, sequentially, from one quarter to the next. That is just staggering growth and suggests the whole AI wave could be a massive tailwind for them. Okay, so that's the bull case, and it's pretty darn strong. But it can't all be good news, right? Every investment has risks. So now we have to put on our skeptical hats and look at the bear case. And it really boils down to two things: a whole lot of competition and a pretty steep price tag. Yeah, Datadog is not operating in a vacuum. This space is a battleground. You've got established players like Cisco and Dynatrace in one corner, you've got specialists like Elastic in another, but maybe the biggest threat of all, the cloud giants themselves. I'm talking Amazon's AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. They all have their own monitoring tools, and they'd love for you to just use their stuff instead of a third party like Datadog. It is a very, very crowded field. And that intense competition leads right into the other big piece of the bear case, the valuation. I mean, just look at this table. The key number to focus on here is price to sales. For every dollar of sales Datadog makes, investors are willing to pay over $15 for the stock. Now compare that to its competitors. Dynatrace is around 8, Elastic is around 5. You are paying a serious premium for Datadog. That means the market is already expecting amazing things from them. There's not a lot of room for error. And this Morningstar quote really hits the nail on the head. They're basically saying, hey, we're optimistic, we like the company, but we think all that good news is already baked into the stock price. This is what investors call being priced for perfection. Datadog could do everything right, hit all their numbers, and the stock could still go nowhere because that high performance is already what everyone expects. All right, we've seen the good, we've seen the bad. Let's put it all together. What's the bottom line for someone thinking about investing in Datadog right now? So here's the tug of war. The bulls will tell you, look, this is a best-in-class product. Customers love it, they stay, and they spend way more money over time. That's the dream for a software company. And they've got this massive AI tailwind just getting started. But the bears have a point too. You've got giants like Amazon and Microsoft breathing down their neck. The stock is already expensive as heck. And if the economy sours, IT budgets are often the first thing to get cut. It's a classic growth versus value story. So it all comes down to this one question. You have a fantastic company, a clear leader in a market that's only getting more important. No one really disputes that. But it comes with a premium price tag, no doubt about it. So as an investor, you have to ask yourself, is that incredible growth story, especially with the AI kicker, strong enough to justify paying up for it? That's the billion-dollar question you have to answer.